warm enough to take off my hat? Am I warm enough to take off my hat? Maybe not just yet. Let me car heat up just a little bit. Let my car heat up. Maybe turn up the heat a little bit. Hope it's not blowing on my phone too much. For those that have been watching a while, you know, occasionally I will have the blower going too warm and shut down my phone. I don't like that feel. Gotta put on my watch. It's gonna be cold. It is gonna be cold. Good thing I kept my hat on. I had a question. What do you guys think? Are apple cores littering? If you're driving down a country-ish road and you're finishing an apple, and I'll admit I've done this before, guilty as charged, and you roll down your window and you chuck your apple core out into the world, is that littering? I mean, I think in the purest sense, it is probably littering. And, but I never felt it was. And I think there's something cool about nature and biodegradation and how the rotting apple is going to feed organisms and feed the soil and come back and make the grass it lands on healthier or what have you. Kind of feel it's part of the ecosystem. You know, I guess if I was living in an area with some traffic, I wouldn't want everyone throwing apple cores on my yard. But I certainly don't do that. But there's no doubt I've been riding down roads and chucked an apple core out my window. What do you think? I mean, you might say it's littering, but do you do it as well? It's easy for us to judge others harsher than ourselves. It's often difficult for us to confess what we do. I was just wondering that today. But let's see, where are we here? Hello, Kay. Hello, Joe. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Fulton. Hello, Mo. Hello, Parissa. Hello, Becky Olson. Kim Asher. A name I can't pronounce. Deborah, Jackie, Ryan, William, Blue, Cameron, Hayden, Amanda, Paradox, Queen, User, Nancy, Midlife, Audrey, Pink, and Julie. Hey, we got an answer. Colby Miller says it's food for animals. I think so too. I think it's good for the environment. I personally think it's good for the environment. Instead of throwing it in some plastic bag, which is going to get sealed and dumped in some waste dump or whatever, garbage fill or landfill or whatever, and it will forever take up space inside some plastic bag in a waste dump, I think it's better for the world and the environment if we probably just chucked them out our window. That's my thought. Yeah, it'll definitely break down. It'll definitely break down. Pretty darn quickly, too. Good morning, Ankle. How are you? And greetings from Germany. And good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Sunday morning. It is December 22nd. It is 5:43 a.m. Happy Sunday. This is a little show. I am from Naperville, Illinois. It's a town about 35 miles west of Chicago. Thank you for asking, Colby. If you don't, Ankle also feels it's good for the environment. Maybe we'll get a movement started. Maybe the whole point of Coffee with Ken is, hey, no, what about banana peels, orange peels? I mean, they break down too. Great for compost. And if they're great for compost, they're probably great, on the sides of roads, honestly. I know it doesn't look pretty, and no, when I get my 3-bedroom, 2-bath, split level with a white picket fenced yard, But the big surprise that's waiting for you is it's not M-I, it's M-E. My mom and dad were playing a joke on me and wanted me to go through this experience 8 million times in my life. But yeah, I'm going to have another sip of coffee, so let's do it. Do I have another Brazilian? Do I have another Brazilian? While we're talking ethnicities, one of the women, I walked into Starbucks, and one of the women working there I'd seen a few times, and she had an exotic look to her and had an Arabic or Indian name. And she was talking about her father who works on a farm. And I'm going, I don't know many Indian people that work on a farm. I'm sure they do, but it's not what I would expect. So I asked her, well, are you Indian? Because she had it was like, I forget the name, but it was an Indian sounding name. And she goes, no, I'm actually Mexican. But my mom was into Arabic or names and went with this one. I go, oh, wow, that takes me by surprise because, yeah, certainly wasn't a Hispanic name by any stretch. So that's my story. Somebody from Peru hopped on. How fun is that? We've got all of South America on. I mean, we don't have all. We don't have any Ecuadorians. I don't think we've had anybody from Uruguay. That's a fun place to say. Uruguay. Here's a little trivia for you. I wish I knew the answer. I really do. There is only one country in South America that is not on the ocean. Name it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And your final answer? And honestly, I forgot the correct answer, but I'm thinking it's Ecuador or Uruguay. Is it Guatemala? No, Guatemala's not even in South America. Isn't Guatemala in Central America? No, it's not. Yeah. Come on, somebody Google that. I can't do it. I think it's Ecuador or Uruguay. Is it Bolivia? I forget. But either way, it's true. There's only one country in South America that isn't on the ocean. And I think it's kind of interesting. So I'll drink a little more coffee to South America. Oh, that is so good. I have a few thoughts for you this morning. Had a great night's sleep. I can't believe it. I'm trying out something for anybody totally new. I'm just kind of experimenting and having fun a little bit with life and been kind of hanging out in my car. I like to say hanging out because I don't want to say living. Living seems so permanent. But I came to a point I'm going, hey, I'm spending a lot of money. I just had moved into the area, more money than I could afford, staying in an extended stay, which is kind of like a long-term hotel that was okay. But it was $1,700 a month to pay for, and it was more than I wanted to spend, and honestly more than I could spend because where I was working was cutting back the hours I was working at my job, and decided, hey, let's try this out. Let's buy a car. Let's sleep in the car for a while. And I've done it. I've done it for like 4 or 5 weeks. And it was like 11 or 12 degrees last night. And I kid you not, it wasn't that bad at all. It wasn't that bad at all. Somebody's coming back on and saying it's Bolivia and Paraguay. I'm going to have to check that when I'm done with this because I thought it was only one country. I thought it was only one country. So, I don't know. Good morning, Chipbot. How are you? Oh, Chetty says Bolivia and Paraguay, too. Well, Michelle says it's Paraguay. I'm wondering, does Bolivia have a little piece of land on the ocean? Yeah, now I'm getting a bunch of people saying Paraguay. And that sounds right, because I was saying Uruguay. And I think there is a Paraguay and an Uruguay. I'm not saying I'm pronouncing them correctly, but we're on a South American theme today. And that's always fun. Good morning, Arian. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué onda? I think ¿qué onda means what's up in Mexico in a very slang-friendly, familiar way. And as a bald white man, I'll often see a group of Mexicans and I'll go, hey, ¿qué onda? And they'll always laugh because they're surprised that it's coming from a guy that looks like me. I've worked in enough restaurants. I love practicing Spanish. It feels good. I like learning things. It's fun. It is fun getting a little better at something. And no matter what you're talking about, the more you practice, the better you get. So if you're out there and but it can't be just a passive kind of interest. Because a lot of people say they really want to learn to play the piano or do the guitar or dance or sing or paint. And to be honest, I think we all kind of want to do that. And I think kind of in looking at my careers, I think all of us kind of want to be a realtor at some point in our lives. Because we watch HGTV, they open up 3 doors, they sell $1 million house, and they get paid a 30 grand commission, and it seems fun. And we all like the smell of new construction, and we all like pretty kitchens and cabinets. So we all, because I tell you what, as a guy that was a realtor for 17 years, holy smokes, everybody and their 2 brothers comes up and goes, hey, I wanted to be a realtor. But anyway, my point is, I think we all kind of want to do things like paint. You know, I think it'd be cool if I knew how to dance, if I was a great dancer or a great guitar player. And I think we all have urges to kind of do something. And a lot of people, because we're here on TikTok, kind of want to be content creators as well. But I think you got to really, really, really want it to put in the time or the hours or the effort it takes to get good at guitar or get good at dancing or take it to the next level. Yeah. Somebody would rather be a hermit in the woods. Everybody is a cake decorator, apparently. Hey, Rock Sugar, I always wanted to be a cake decorator. I actually never wanted to be a cake decorator. I would do a horrible job, no matter how much practice I did decorating cakes. I mean, I'd get better with it with practice. But, hey, Rock Sugar, because I've sent out a lot of resumes of late, but let me tell you, if we ever sit down for an interview, because you got my resume, that has nothing to do with decorating cakes, but if we ever sit down for an interview, you got to tell me you love what you do. But anyway, and secondly, don't hire me because I'll be a horrible cake decorator. I will be a horrible cake decorator. Yeah, Richard Davis says the harder they work, the luckier they got. Boy named Sasha says nobody except a used car salesman dreams of being a realtor. Oh, I don't think you know what you're talking about, boy named Sasha. As a guy that actually was a realtor for 17 years, I'd almost say a person every day going, oh, I always thought about being a realtor. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, okay, rock sugar customer cakes. I bet you ask that woman, do people come up and say, oh, they always wanted to be a realtor? That she'd say, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Do I own restaurants? No, I don't, but I've worked in several. I was a realtor for 17 years. I'll tell you what. I have a certain innate confidence in myself, I think. And I carry myself with a certain swagger, even though, like right now, I'm hanging out in my car. But I worked as a waiter twice at two different locations this year, one out in Yellowstone and one in Naperville. And everywhere I'd walk around, and granted, I'm older, I'm tall, but people would think I owned it, even on my first day of training. I thought that was kind of cute. Is it true that all realtor males are bald? No, it is not true. I cannot even think of another bald male realtor besides me, and I'm not even a realtor anymore, so I don't even know if it counts. There was a bald real estate coach. This is kind of interesting. His name was Kevin. I don't know what his last name was, but I thought he was doing a really good job. He seemed like a good real estate coach or realtor coach. And I think he must have gone through a divorce. And it almost seems, because now I see his videos, and they're for like divorce coaching. Makes me wonder how well he did in real estate or how well he did in real estate coaching. And it's cool, do whatever you want, follow your stuff and this and that, you know. You should follow his dreams and do what he wants to do. He should follow his dreams and do whatever it is that he wants to do. Hey, we got somebody from Vietnam on. Welcome. Welcome. Zeta Norton followed the live creator. Thank you so much for doing that, Zeta. It always feels good when somebody follows my show. And when I go live, and I go live every morning, I've been adding on a nighttime live show. I always pick up some subscribers, and that always feels good. As long as I continue showing up to work every day, work hard, my boss will continue buying Lambos. Hey, as Young Dutch, you know it. The harder you work, the more Lambos your boss is going to be able to purchase. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? Does your boss appreciate you? Does your boss appreciate you, Young Dutch? Do you feel valued? Or do they feel because they pay you money that they don't need to appreciate you? And when you have a manager working over you, do you feel the manager feels it's their job to correct you when you make a mistake? Or to point out the errors you're doing in your job? I wonder. Because that's been my experience. And I think I'm surprised / disappointed that so many think that's what management is about. Somebody's saying no empathy in a corporate world. I think there should be. And not because it's right. Not because the employees need a hug or a pat on the head or anything. But because it would be good for business. And there's a lot of older folks, and I'm an older folk, complaining that young people don't want to work hard these days, or nobody wants to work anymore, or this or that. And I think there's something a little broken down with the system, and corporations being this non-human beast focused on profit and loss doesn't see that the state of their employees' their emotional status of their employees is relevant to their production and their productivity. And if you have content and happy employees that feel appreciated by their bosses, not just corrected, that they'll be more productive and that they'll feel valued, important, respected, all things that I think are probably right up there in terms of pay for most of us, even though most of us might not know it. Young Dutch says most managers call you out in front of others. Yeah, no, I think they really like that because it shows everybody that they're managing. Empathy does not equal pizza parties. I'm not talking about pizza parties. I'm talking encouragement or a pat on the back or a nice job or, hey, thanks for working hard today or cleaning up that spill, or I noticed you gave the customer extra great service. Way to go. You know? Richard Davis says the literal definition of a corporation's existence is to maximize shareholder wealth. I agree, and I am okay with that. But my point is, if they want to truly maximize shareholder value or wealth, I think they need to start treating their employees differently. I think you could get a heck of a lot more out of a workforce that feels appreciated than a workforce that's always being corrected. And I'm not saying you don't alert somebody when they're doing something wrong. If they're making my coffee wrong, I want somebody to tell them, hey, you put 2 scoops of the coffee grounds in the coffee or whatever. But I'm saying I'm amazed. In just a few little stints I've had in the corporate world, how little encouragement is out there. And I was a realtor for 17 years, and, that was just a love fest. And I was a stockbroker for 10, and, we high-fived and encouraged and cheered on, and sometimes we're envious of. But I'm amazed in just a couple stints in the corporate world, one at Target and another at various restaurants, what management is like. Yeah. And I'm amazed, I talked about it yesterday, how many interviews I've been on over the last, year or two. And out of, let's say, 50. Let's say I've been on 50 interviews in the last 2 years. And I don't know if that's true or not, but let's say it is. I'd say out of those 50 people I interviewed with, only 3 of them liked what they did for a living. Seems weird to me. American Tourist said they could never decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. What was your target job for all of those, though? I don't understand what you mean. And 50, I'm just throwing that out there. Hello, Presh. How are you? Oh. Mitch at the Rail says, that's why you save enough money to do whatever you want for a career. Do I believe my insights and abilities surpass leaders of most corporations? I think my insights have value. And I think I'm a voice that is speaking out for what most would be afraid to say because they'd be worried they'd get let go from their company. And I'm just saying it. And maybe it's just my truth, but I doubt it. I bet a lot of us are experiencing it and feeling the same way and wondering why our boss hasn't said nice job to us in ever. M says they're starting a career as a real estate appraiser. They love the field, but they're worried about AI takeover. Yeah. I'd be worried about that too. I would be worried about that too. Jamie A says, are they lower level jobs or are they respectable education needed jobs? Jamie A, what do you mean? I mean, that sounds offensive. Does anyone else feel that Jamie A is being offensive when she's saying there's lower level jobs and then there's respectable jobs? I can't believe Jamie A actually typed those words. Do the rest of you look at the world as lower level jobs and respectable jobs? Or is that just Jamie A? Jamie A is trying to explain herself, but the more she does, the more I think, I don't know if Jamie A should be in this conversation. And I think it's important to surround yourself with good people. Because Jamie A, what you said seems so rude. That's why. And if you don't know it, don't acknowledge it. Go, you said there's lower level jobs. Or is it a respectable job? You know? Yeah. Jamie A, you got to turn your attitude. It was a horrible choice of words, Jamie A. I appreciate you backing off. Just think about all those people out there, Jamie A., and it's probably half the country, that are doing those lower level jobs. And you're saying, but there's other respectable jobs. Come on, Jamie A. Yeah. Yeah. But either, okay, I'll go on. But Jamie A., whether they're entry-level jobs or jobs you can only get with a college degree, don't those people working at entry, aren't they important? Aren't those people at entry? Because at the base, they're the cashiers at the McDonald's. You know? They're the front line of the companies. They're the people that are interacting with the customer. Shouldn't they feel appreciated as well? Shouldn't they feel appreciated by their boss? Whether they needed to have a college degree to get that job? And more importantly, for a corporation who's just looking at it from the profit and loss, wouldn't they be better employees if their bosses appreciated them? And said, hey, Kara, nice job handling that customer. I know they were being a little difficult, but you handled it really well. Great job. Instead of saying, Kara, whenever there's an issue, you need to do this, this, and this. And Kara kind of lowers her head and hates her job and then wants to leave McDonald's and goes to Burger King and finds it's the same way over there. I think I'm onto something with this, because I know how I felt when I had managers that only wanted, and I've had it a few times, that I felt were watching me and they didn't care at all if I did anything extra. But the only reason they were watching me, and I'll tell you what, it happened in Yellowstone like crazy. Like crazy. I felt their eyes were on me, hoping I'd do something wrong. I'd put a tray in the wrong spot or do something so they could jump on me. And I hated that feeling. I hated that feeling. And if I'm just feeling it, I bet you others are feeling it, but they're scared to say it. And I'm betting, while I'm running with this, is I could start a business. It doesn't even really matter what business it would be. But my number one goal would be taking care of the customer. And my number two goal would be loving on my employees. And not just financially, not just a raise. I'm not saying I'd pay them a crazy amount, because you can't do that. But by showing them some appreciation, and I'll bet you, if you love on your employees a little more, the customer's going to get taken better as well. But it almost seems, and every time I see it, you go, oh, you don't get that in corporate America. And I'd only just recently started feeling it, because I'd never really worked in corporate America. And Jamie A., I still love you. I hope you're not offended. It's okay. But almost everybody I talk to hates their job. And they soothe themselves by buying a fancy car or drinking alcohol. I'll just bet we could figure out how to do it better. Okay, Melissa, love to see it. Love to see it. Melissa says she doesn't hate her job. She loves her job. Awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. I hope I'm wrong. You definitely work harder when you're treated well, but it's not even really work. You're treated well, you're happier. You're happier, you almost don't even think it's work. It could be your happy place. I would scrub a toilet and make it shine if my boss appreciated it. But since you're going to get no acknowledgement from your higher ups for going that extra mile, why do it? Dave said plumbers make big money. I bet they do. I bet they do. Well, Melissa, way to go. I love hearing it. I love hearing it. Ladyberg Dye says, morning, the sunrise is a daily affirmation that life is a beautiful gift waiting to be unwrapped. Well, that's a beautiful... Did you just read a Hallmark card and come up with that? Because you put that really nicely. And I agree. Tree Hugger said, plumbers deserve that money. All right. Melissa, come on. I want to believe every day. And what got me thinking about it, I talked to a woman about a job last week, and it was a job I didn't even know existed. But I was stunned while talking to her that and within the first minute, she said she loves what she does. And at that point, I was sold. I go, I don't even care what your company does. I don't care if I got to scrub toilets or go door-to-door sales or whatever you want me to do. If you love what you do, I'm going to follow you on this career path. I'm excited. I want to work here. I want to love what I do. I want to care. I want to feel it matters. And this woman said that. And I'm going, wow. I haven't ever heard that in 2 years. In 2 years. Good morning, Julie Flanagan. Good morning, Tanya. American Tourist says union jobs are more happy. Is that true? I worked for UPS for a little while, but it was only a seasonal job. They seem pretty happy, the UPS employees. Maybe that's true. I think inherently, I would say I'm coming around to the idea of unions. And maybe because the individual means nothing to a big corporation. And it's only when the individual joins with other individuals in the same spot do they get power and matter and become important. Huh. Yeah, Steve says you got to love your job, I think, right? You have to love your job. Well, you got to I don't think a UPS van driver makes 170 grand, Dave. They don't. I was working. I worked with van drivers. They weren't making 170. Steve, you have to love you're there 8 hours a day. I'm not saying we should be less productive. I'm saying if we were happier with our jobs, we'd be more productive. They did get a new contract last year. You're right about that, Dave. I do remember that. I worked there right before they were getting a new contract, and they weren't making anywhere near that, but maybe something's happened. Somebody said the nicest co-workers they had were attorneys, and the worst were veterinary staff. Wow, I'm shocked. I am shocked. Somebody's favorite job was a safety course instructor. Is Ken a cop or a higher up somewhere? No, I'm about the lowest of the low. But I don't really mean that. I'm confident enough to say that and not really mean it, or not even really feel it. Diane said they're making 50 to 75 a year average. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know any attorney. Hey, Evan. Well, thank you for saying that. Evan said, thanks, Ken. Thanks for what you're doing. Love my outlook and happy with what you got. Yeah. Jordan, thank you for following the live creator. Christian works for an aerospace company, and it's a union, and people are very happy there. 4 money raises a year. Yeah, but I don't think it's just about the money. I think it might not even be half about the money. Hello from New Zealand. What age did I go bald? I shaved it when I was about 30, I'll say. But it started thinning in my late 20s. That's what age I went bald. Somebody's watching from the Philippines. How fun is this? What have we had? Brazil, Peru, Vietnam, the Philippines, New Jersey. I noticed the viewer from New Jersey was always doing one of these, was looking up into the sky going, what the hell's going on up there? What the hell is going on up there? Let's have a little more coffee. Oh, that is so good. I'm telling you, go in, get yourself a coffee with cream with some pumpkin spice. You won't need to buy a mocha or a pumpkin spice latte, and you'll save yourself a couple bucks. I had a great but exhausting day yesterday. Started early. Started with my coffee show, as it does. Drove out to Rolling Meadows to watch my daughter cheer. I was one of the first. I was there before any of the other parents from her school. I'm looking around in the stands going, hey, where's the other parents from Oswego East? I want to kind of sit with them. And most of the sections at the stadium were kind of blocked off and sectioned off and saved for people of certain schools. And I felt that was very kind of childish. Made me a little uncomfortable, like I wasn't allowed to sit in huge swaths of the area because the school from Hersey had things on this whole huge section, even though there's only 4 people sitting there. Kind of believe it should be first come, first serve. But either way, I found my way up to the top level, and I was surrounded, because there was no parents from my daughter's school. I ended up being surrounded by a school in the area of parents from Barrington. And we were joking, and the people in front of me were wearing hats and had signs of their daughter's face and were very boisterous. And I like that. I mean, I like talking to these people. And I was screaming for my girl and cheering for her team, but I pretty much cheer for every team and clap along. At the end, there's this thing where they all clap, and the whole stadium starts clapping, and the dance picks up right as they're finishing it up. And it's always my favorite part, and you see the whole stadium clapping along, and it's pretty darn cool. But anyway, my daughter's team went, and then Barrington's team was up, and I'm on the back row. Some pretty woman with this huge cowboy hat and this bedazzled shirt asked if I'd hold the flag, a Barrington cheer flag. I go, yeah, well, why not? And I grabbed it, and it was huge. So another guy grabbed it over there, and I'm holding it up and waving it while Barrington's cheering. And what I didn't know, and my daughter Morgie walked in and saw me, Dad. And I went out with her last night, and she's telling Aaron, Dad was waving another team's flag. Might be a cheering parent faux pas. Or it might be the perfect thing to do. Because I guess at a cheer competition, you should really be cheering for everybody. If I could do a tumble or was strong enough to hold one of those girls up on my arms, I would have been a heck of a cheerleader. I would have been a heck of a cheerleader. Because I got a pep. Oh, do I have pep. At the end, and my daughter would kill me if I did it. At the end, all the cheer teams kind of go down on the floor while they're getting the awards ready and the judges are tabulating the votes. And they play this music, and it seems like the music might be similar from, I don't know, all the kids know the songs and the dance moves and are doing like in-step dancing. It's like the Macarena, but in 2024. I think the Macarena was this sort of thing, wasn't it? Do the Macarena or something like that. But anyway, they all know the steps and are all dancing along and all singing along and all moving around and having a great time. And my daughter's team was kind of off in the corner, not having as great of a time as I thought they should. And I thought, hey, they should have a little more fun. Part of me wanted to get down there and lead them. in the dancing. But I thought my daughter Morgie might not appreciate it. I thought my daughter might not appreciate it. Hey, Amanda, thank you for following the live creator. And Wadi Baroque, thank you for following the live creator. I so appreciate that. I really do. And somebody else, Win, followed the live creator. Wow, I got 3 people to follow the live creator on my screen right now. On my screen right now. Couple thoughts. Woke up this morning, looked at TikTok. I had one commenter who's been, I'll just say it, stalking me for months and months. And for a while I was ignoring him because I thought the comments were worthwhile, helped the algorithms, got my videos viewed more and me earning more. But I had one of the people that watches my show going, oh, you really wish you'd block them. It just kind of brings negativity. So now as they comment, I clear them out. And they said something about how few people I have watching and how I'm wasting my life. I was wondering what they meant by that, or how they could say that, or how would they know? And I kind of thought that they were projecting their own feelings of their own existence and their own purpose and what they're doing, and they were putting it on me. Because I was looking at yesterday, and I spent the whole day with my 2 older daughters. And this morning at 8:30, I'm picking up my 2 young ones. I'm going to spend the morning with them at least. And then I'm meeting some friends out, and we're going to watch a basketball game. And I think I'm living my life about as big as a human being can live their life. And I might not have all the money in the world, and I do not have all the money in the world. But it just kind of intrigued me. And I wanted to follow up, but it doesn't do any good to try and explain it to them, because they're only going to see it from their perspective. And then I saw another comment, and he wasn't being mean, but he goes, hey, it's Christmas time. Why don't you sing carols? Tell us what gifts you're getting your kids. Tell us your favorite Christmas memories. Do this, do that, and do this. I go, huh. And all I said to him was, I don't do requests. You know, I think you gotta do what moves you. And if you're gonna paint a picture, don't try and don't paint that picture for me or for anybody else. Paint it for yourself. And then paint another one tomorrow. And then pick up those brushes on the next day and paint what you want to see. And I think if we all learn to live our lives that way, we'd all have happier lives. So, it's Sunday morning. It is going to be a beautiful day. My daughter Eve wasn't feeling well. I'm going to drive down and pick them up, I think, at their mama's house in a little bit. And if Eve's not feeling well, and this is going to sound bad, I love Eve, I love Eve, I love Eve, but I haven't just been out with my son Augie, who's 3.5, in a long time. And their data's attention is always divided amongst 2 toddlers. Augie's 3.5 has Down syndrome, and Eve is 2, and she's beautiful. And they're the sweetest little things. And I think it'd be really fun for me if I just got Augie out today and could shower my love on him and not be stressed going in and out of church or going in and out of the restaurant because I got 2 toddlers and they're running different ways. And just focus on Augie today. And maybe tomorrow Eve will be feeling a little better and I can go pick her up and maybe just take her out for a special Daddy Day. Just kind of one-on-one. And I'm sure you parents out there know that, feel that way sometimes too. When you're always hanging with 2 of them, it's nice to mix it up and just get them one-on-one. And I think it'd be really fun to do with Augie. And we're going to go to church. And what I used to do when he was young, near the end of the service, there's music that's played. And there's lights and smoke and cool things. And I used to hold Augie when he was little and kind of sway with him in my arms. And it's the cutest little thing, let me tell you. They give out these little packages of the bread and the communion. And I'd break a tiny little nugget of the wafer and give it to Augie. And he'd put it in his mouth and he'd go, didn't taste too good, so he'd spit it out. And then I'd drink about 80% of the grape juice and I'd give him the last little bit. And he'd like that. And people would watch us because he's so beautiful and he's the sweetest little thing. And right now, because I have 2 of them, I can't do that because I can't bring 2 of them into the service at the end or they'll be running all over. And it'd be fun just to go with Augie. It'd be fun to go with Augie. So, yeah. I so appreciate you guys for watching today. I so appreciate you guys for watching today and for following along in my journey, and for anybody that's subscribed to my show or watches my videos. I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for being here and following along, and I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep, and I hope you had a great Saturday, and I hope you are feeling good, and I hope you are loving yourself. And hey, Jamie A., don't you sweat it again. Don't you sweat it again. Gave me a good content for future videos. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you are loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.